और हमारे वरिष्ठ साथी आदरणीय श्री धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी, सर्वप्रथम तो आपका आभार। अपने व्यस्तम चर्या से आपने कुछ समय निकाला, हमारे बीच इस कार्यक्रम की शोभा भी बढ़ाई है और इन छात्रों की हौसला अफजाई भी हुई है। हम जानते हैं गत कुछ दिनों से आप उड़ीसा में भी व्यस्त थे, उसके बावजूद अब यहाँ पधारे और यहाँ से शायद आपकी जानकारी में ना हो कि सीधा आपको वापस भुवनेश्वर लौटना है। ये इस बात का भी संकेत है कि इस प्रकार से आपने इन संस्थाओं के प्रति और इन छात्रों के प्रति अपनी प्रतिबद्धता का प्रदर्शन किया है। जम्मू कश्मीर के उपराज्यपाल श्री मनोज सिन्हा जी, जिनका वक्तव्य अभी आप सुन रहे थे, चेयरमैन बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर्स डॉक्टर मिलिंद, डायरेक्टर प्रोफेसर सहाय, seated before me the vice chancellors of different universities, Central University, the University of Jammu, senior members of the faculty, and dear students and the passing out graduates to whom actually this program is dedicated. It is you there, that is why we are there. We are there because you happen to be there. And my first thought on seeing you is that you are very special. You are special, and I would not say that just for the sake of saying being a student of science, we've been taught to speak not without evidence. You are special because you are the graduates, postgraduates of the Modi era. And you are youth of India at a time when it is one of the best times happening for youth in India. And you are also special for another reason, that with the age being very much on your side, the energy on your side, you are going to be the celebrators of Century India in 2047. I don't know how many of us would be there around, even if we are, how much can we celebrate? But yes, you have been blessed with that privilege by the Almighty. Now, this is both a challenge as well as an opportunity, and depends on you how you would discharge it. And why I say you are privileged, you are also privileged to be the youth and the graduates of this era, because sitting before the Honorable Education Minister of India, you are among the earliest beneficiaries of the new policy, the National Education Policy 2020 or the NEP 2020. I sometimes wonder why it shouldn't have happened about 40 years ago. And I sometimes regret also. The other day in a podcast interview with the ANI proprietor, Ms. Samita Prakash, the last question she asked me, any regret, any wish? I said, I can't regret because God would be angry. But yes, I wish I was a youth in 2023. And there's a reason for that, because I belong to a generation of youth where we became prisoners of our aspiration. If, for example, my parents thought I had to be a doctor, I would go in for medical subjects in class 12. If I could make it, well and good. If I did, I had no choice but to do a BSc, either in botany or zoology. Then I would try my hand in civil services, provincial service. If I didn't make it, then I would go in for post-graduation. Again, in the same chapters. Then if not, then go in for PhD. Finally end up as an educated unemployed. So the old education policy has ironically given rise to a huge lot of educated unemployed in this country, because we had somewhere misguidedly linked degree with education and also with the growth in life. The other day, the Cambridge Vice Chancellor was telling me, Doc, I must compliment you. If I don't have students from India, my PhD would close down. So when he went out, I told my colleague, I said, was it a compliment or otherwise? He said, what do you mean? I said, the grand old man doesn't know that in his country, a boy or a girl would go in for a PhD only if he or she has decided to dedicate the rest of his life or her life to that subject. Here I go in for a trophy. I can obtain a degree in biotechnology and become an MD in a computer company. So I'm glad, under the inspiration of Prime Minister Modi, led by Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, we have a new education policy which will hopefully make up for several anomalies of the past. You are also lucky because you are initiating your profession at a time when India is leading the movement of startups in the world. And again, we owe it to Prime Minister Modi from the ramparts of Red Fort in 2015 when he said, stand up India, start up India. I remember I received a number of phone calls asking me, what does this mean? We were so ignorant, so oblivious of this concept. We just had about 350. Today, we have got 800 times, 300 times, more than 1 lakh. And close to 150 unicorns, that is $1 billion turnover. And we have some of the brilliant boys and girls coming from middle class, some of them first timers, first generation. We had just about 50 biotech startups in 2014. Today, we have close to 6,000. We had no concept about agri startups, and I'm glad this place itself has become the birthplace of the purple revolution of India, which is attracting agri startups from all over the country. I wish it is talked about more, but nevertheless, it is talked about more outside Jammu and Kashmir than in Jammu and Kashmir. But nevertheless, Bhadrawa and Gulmarg have come to appear in the world map. Somebody may sometimes ask, what has MBA got to do with all this? And that is because sometimes the question arises because we have somehow tied up this startup with S&T or IT. And that's because the concept came from West and landed straight in Bangalore, which was a hub of IT. But our exclusive domain is not IT. Our exclusive domain is agriculture. Our exclusive domain is 7,500 long kilometer coastal area. And we are going to have the value addition to Indian economy, which is going to take India from these areas, these domains. And therefore, startup is not about science. It's also not about too many degrees, more of innovation. And therein you have an advantage because the creation of ideas and the management of ideas. And no startup can sustain without an optimum management. And therefore, as was being mentioned, you have all the institutions in your vicinity. I'm glad at my advice, Professor Sahai, only last year, engaged in a multilateral MOU with the IIT, the AIIMS, with the medical college in this cost. Because unless you work in synergy, you can't be growing further. The era of silos is over. And then what is required is a change of mindset. The mindset, unfortunately, in this part of the country is still fixed up in that Sarkari Naukri. And it pains me sometimes when I find graduates, postgraduates, postdoctoral PhDs sitting in hot sun for a 3,000 contractual job. I don't know whether it's lack of exposure or lack of awareness. That's why I've been insisting wherever I've been going. Next time when you have a program like this, please invite the parents also, because they need to be equally educated. And I'm not saying something which is out of the world. If you go to a state like Gujarat, I have seen boys and girls not even filling out form of civil services. और मैंने किसी से पूछा अपने विद्यार्थी परिषद, मैंने कहा सिविल सर्विस का फॉर्म तो भर दो, आईएएस करनी कि नहीं करनी, साहब 1 साल लग जाएगा मेहनत करने में, उसके बाद होके तब तक हमको जमा लेंगे. That's why I said we were prisoners of aspiration. You are not, but you have to open your eyes to the outlets which are available to you in abundance. Unfortunately, the North Indian states, it is taking us time. And therefore, what is required is awareness, because government is providing all the support, right from hand-holding to technical support, to financial support, even market linkage. Now this Aroma mission has started just about 70 kilometers away from where we are sitting. The technical support is provided, the financial support is provided, the market linkage has been done with certain companies in Maharashtra. It's all a skill of management. I know what will you decide in your career, but we have at least 3 MBA boys there who left their corporate job and joined there. And you know, joined whom? Who are not even graduates. The pioneers among those 3,000 startups which we have now in lavender cultivation are hardly any graduates. So please don't get carried away by the degree that you're going to obtain today, because there's much more to that. It's an era of innovation, it's an era of ideas. I have a group of startups in Chennai who have hardly many of degrees, but they have started a snow park. They got a premises, created a minus 15-degree temperature inside the premises. उसमें पहलगाम भी है, गुलमर्ग भी है, सोनामर्ग भी, skating भी हो रही है, honeymoon भी हो रहा है. And since I keep learning from these boys, because more than you, I feel restless when I don't find you moving at the same pace. So last month when I was there, I called them, I said, Prithvi, अब कैसा आगे चल रहा है? बोले साहब एक और एडिशन कर दिया. मैंने कहा क्या? कहने लगा साहब एंट्री डोर पे वार्म गारमेंट्स की दुकान खोल दी. तो जो आए उसको भाई साहब 25,000 की टिकट देनी और सामने कहना कि साहब हार्ट वार्ट कमजोर हो तो अंदर हार्ट अटैक हो सकता है, ये एकदम टेम्परेचर फॉल करेगा। 25-30,000 की जैकेट भी भेज दी और उनको बिठाया कि थोड़ी देर एक्लिमेटाइज होके अंदर जाइए। So this is all a game of ideas and how you create idea and how you manage idea. I think the greatest startup sustainability lies with those who are good at management. But you have sometimes if you don't find kind of thing happening. And what we need is awareness about the programs that the government is providing. A lot of incentives by Prime Minister Modi. It's all available on the websites. But many of us are not busy. Many of the youngsters just keep changing their Facebook, that photo profile. I told one boy, I said, I don't know why you keep changing, because the person for whom you are changing may also not be seeing it. So concentrate on your work. We have everything available. We have a 16-year-old girl from Sopur who qualified IIT. Out of my curiosity, I asked her, I said, Beta, you are at a place where you don't have a coaching center, you don't have a, you have an encounter going outside. She takes out a mobile from her pocket and shows me, sir, this is it. 8 months, 14 hours per day, and you can crack. I said, if somebody had told me, I would have cracked. So I think everything is there at our disposal, much more cost effective. When I did my thesis, my guide would tell me, go and get a book from the British Library. When I went to Delhi British Library, they said, no, it's in the British Council Library in Calcutta. Such difficult were the times. So it's now up to you. And of course, the vision for future. When we got the highest railway bridge over here in Riyasi, I used to keep telling everybody, because it took us a lot of effort to change the alignment, but nobody was bothered. Then I got hold of a French newsman. She went there, got a documentary made. I told her in lighter way, I said, I believe in your country, you have the highest monument in the world. She said, of course. I said, come, we are monument 35 meters higher than her. So she got excited. And then now we also woke up to that. Similarly, case of lavender, PM has spoken about it in Man Ki Baat, 7 minutes. He has tweeted about it, but we are still not trying to look up to it, to what is happening. Nor is the media concerned, because they're more concerned who abused whom and how the reply came to the abuse. And therefore, I wish you that you would have the wisdom, discretion, and awakening. And coming back to where I said I land there, that you are lucky to be the youth of the graduates of Modi era. You are also blessed to celebrate Century India. And so mind you, remember Century India beckons you. Century India beckons you to be her architect in 2047. And Century India beckons you to lead her. Now the question is, are you ready to lead? Are you ready to discharge that responsibility? Are you ready to live up to that onerous expectation? And sometimes that's why I feel restless. I wish I was in your place. My predicament to conclude is that after having been a teacher for over more than a quarter of a century, when I'm called to events like this, I was earlier called as a guest faculty or a keynote speaker. Now I'm called as a chief guest or a guest of honor. I'm expected to light the traditional lamp and push off. I hope Professor Sahai next time would arrange a more interactive session of an academic nature so that both of us, you and I, learn from each other and go back wiser than before. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.